What's up, YouTube? I am back with another video. Now, I just got my wisdom teeth removed, so my face look a little puffy. Don't mind that. Today, I will be explaining my story on how I have a high credit score at 18 years old. Let's get into it. First of all, disclaimer, I am no way, shape, or form a credit expert, advisor. I'm just really giving my story on what I think is deemed to be true when it comes to credit and having a high credit score. So how did I start my credit journey? So I just remember 17 going on 18. I was doing a bunch of research when it comes to, what is credit, how to use credit, the best cards to use. And I also talked to my dad about getting my first card. Now he was more so on the fence about it because he is on the Dave Ramsey side of things. If you're not familiar with Dave Ramsey, he talks about in all of his podcasts, YouTube videos, you should not use credit. But based off of my personal research, I believe that credit can be a great tool if used correctly and used properly. Now, if you're not using it properly and you start abusing it, that's when you can really tap into credit card debt and you can just start piling on serious problems. So which cards did I start with? The first card that I applied for was the Discover It secured card. If you're not familiar with what a secured card is, basically you put a deposit in that acts as your credit limit. So for an example, I put in just $200 and over the course of 6 months, you want to show the lenders, because you are new in credit, you have no history, you want to show the lender that you can pay your credit card off in time, that you're using it but you're not using it a lot, so you're not maxing out your card. And if you show that to them and you're being consistent, you can actually get your deposit back after the 6 months and it will give you an increased credit limit. The next card that I got was the Saver One by Capital One. Now this card, you get about 3% on dining out, entertainment, grocery shopping, eating out, things like that. And so I do pretty much all of those things on a regular basis. And so to get cash back, I think is super important. So with this card, I believe just know your spending habits. So if you know that you are prone to eat a lot, get groceries a lot, whatever it is, of course, the necessities, and I'd recommend getting a card like this because you can get cash back on all of those purchases. So at this point, I have just those two cards, the Discover and the Saver One. Now this is when I really tapped into Amex cards. Now the next card that I got was the American Express Blue Cash Preferred. Now this card is crazy because you get about 6% on groceries, streaming, and 3% on gas, I believe. Now I use this card mostly on gas because I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee and it's a gas guzzler, and so I'm mostly using this card just on my gas purchases. Now, just a rule of thumb, I'm not getting these cards at the same time. I would recommend applying for a new card every 3 to 6 months. So I got my Discover around April, May, then my Saver One in September, and then I got my Blue Cash Preferred in December. Last but not least, I have the Amex Gold Business. Now, first of all, this card just looks great. But this is not a traditional card. It is a charge card. That basically means that there is no preset limit. However, you need to pay it off in full every single month. So it also has some great perks, great benefits. I believe it's 4 times reward points on the top 2 categories that you spend on your business card each billing cycle. So it does have an annual fee of $375. However, if you're using a card correctly, it will basically pay itself off. So next, you're probably wondering, how is my credit scored? So as you can see on this percentage wheel, 35% is made up of your payment history, 30% is the amount owed, 15% is the length of your credit history, and then your credit mix is 10%, as well as new credit, that's also 10%. So we see that the biggest factor when it comes to scoring is our payment history at 35%. Now think of credit like a relationship. You want to show the lender that you are trustworthy, that you're being consistent, that you are making your payments on time in full every month. Now, if you can't make your payments in full, at least make the minimum payment. But my rule of thumb is if you don't have it to spend in your regular account, do not spend it on your credit card. So I will just talk about the top two percentages on the wheel, and the next is the amounts owed, and that is called your credit utilization rate. Now you want to make sure that this is at least under 30%. What people get mixed up is using your credit. You need to use your credit, but the rule of thumb is to keep your credit or how much you owe under 30%. So for an example, if I have a credit limit of 300, I don't want to spend over $90. They're looking to see if you're trustworthy, if you will max your card out. Like, these are factors that play a big role in whether you might get approved for the next card that you apply for. Ask yourself this question: what is your why? Why are you wanting to get into credit? I think just like anything that we do, you need to have a plan laid out. My why is I know that eventually I'm going to need to use credit. If it's for buying another car, getting a house or apartment, whatever it could be. But by me simply starting my journey at a young age, it's going to equip me to having it when I need to use it. That is the end of the video. I hope that this was helpful with your own personal credit journey, and I hope that my personal journey was inspiring as well. And yeah, thank you for watching.